Jose Rizal's Life and Writings. Lesson 1.1. Jose Rizal as a Cosmopolitan Hero. The life and works of Jose Rizal flow in each chapter of Philippine history, and his love for the country became the inspiration of the Filipinos in different eras. His works serve not only the mirror of our society during the time and the Spanish colonization, but also enlightened the Filipinos to assert their political and civic rights, and ask for reform in our society. His brilliance in philosophy gave us another source of principles in analyzing our history and government. His ideas shed light to the Filipino revolutionists and encouraged them to be brave and die for the sake of our country. The greatness of Rizal could be seen in the different eras in history and in the Philippine Uprising in 1896, in the debate in the American Congress about the annexation of the Philippines, and at the present when we need to have the inspiration in achieving our goals for our country. Rizal is considered to be a cosmopolitan hero because he was the hero of Andres Bonifacio and the Katipuneros. Jose Rizal had a great influence on Andres Bonifacio. Through reading of Rizal's works, nationalistic sentiments of Bonifacio was enhanced, and the novels of Rizal gave Bonifacio an idea about the revolution. And we may consider Andres Bonifacio as the first hero who recognized Jose Rizal as his hero. The fanaticism of Andres Bonifacio to Rizal was evident when Andres attended the founding of La Liga Filipina in July 3, 1892. The La Liga Filipina is a civic organization founded by Jose Rizal, which aims for the reform in the society through education and the unity of the whole archipelago. However, the organization did not attain its goal because Rizal was exiled to Dapitan and he lived there for 4 years, from July 1892 to July 1896. And his exile pushed Andres Bonifacio and another 6 people to establish the KKK, or di kataas-taasang kagalang-galangang katipunan ng mga anak ng bayan. KKK had a different objective than the La Liga Filipina because it did not aim for reform but independence from Spanish rule through a revolution. The extent of influence of Jose Rizal to Andres was also seen in some aspects of KKK. The password of Bayani, the highest grade or group in KKK, was Rizal. The photograph of Rizal was also hung in the headquarters of the KKK, and the presence of Andres Bonifacio in founding of La Liga Filipina in July 3, 1892 was one of the evidence that the Spaniards used to associate Rizal to Bonifacio and as the founder of KKK. While Rizal was in Dapitan, Andres Bonifacio and the members of KKK had the opportunity to expand to the other provinces of the country, from Manila to Cavite, Laguna, Batangas, Bataan, and other provinces which joined the uprising in 1896. The name Jose Rizal was used to collect funds since during those time, Jose Rizal was considered as a national figure. This action of the Katipuneros became part of the evidence of the Spaniards that Jose Rizal was truly the leader of KKK and the uprising in the year 1896. In May 1896, the emissary of KKK, Dr. Pio Valenzuela, informed Jose Rizal about the plan of the revolutionists and sought advice from him. However, Jose Rizal was against the revolution that Andres Bonifacio and other Katipuneros were thinking because he knew that the Filipinos were not yet ready for the revolution and they didn't have a clear picture of government that they should establish after the downfall of the Spanish government in the Philippines. Aside from this, Rizal believed that the assistance of the Creoles and the Ilustrados was very much important in the revolution since they were educated. In July 1896, Jose Rizal boarded a ship that would bring him to Singapore, and from Singapore, he would travel to Spain because the Governor General granted him requests that he could be a volunteer doctor to Cuba But upon his arrival to Madrid, he was not allowed to leave the ship, and for almost a month, he stayed in the ship and then returned to the Philippines as a prisoner in Fort Santiago. This was because the Spanish government already had the suspicion about the existence of KKK and that Rizal was the founder of the secret society. In August 19, 1896, the existence of KKK was revealed to the Spanish government, and in August 25, 1896, the uprising started, and even without concrete evidence, Rizal was accused as the leader of the uprising. The existence of KKK and the revolution were used by the friars to execute Jose Rizal. Thus, the idea of revolution that Rizal wrote on his novels also became the reason why he was executed in December 30, 1896. Jose Rizal is considered to be a cosmopolitan hero because aside from Andres Bonifacio and other Katipuneros, he was also the hero of Emilio Aguinaldo and the First Philippine Republic. The death of Jose Rizal was the start of the real battle of the Filipinos against the Spaniards. KKK continued their struggle against the Spaniards, and the colonial government in the Philippines was near to its end. However, because of the issue about leadership, the conflict between the two factions of KKK, the Magdiwang and the Magdalo, led to the disunity of the Katipuneros and the execution of Andres Bonifacio, signed by Emilio Aguinaldo. The death of Andres Bonifacio was one of the factors of the failure of the uprisings of the Filipino, and in December 12 to 15, 1897, the Spaniards and the Filipino decided to end the hostility and signed the Treaty of Biak na Bato. However, the group of Emilio Aguinaldo had the opportunity to communicate to the Americans in Singapore, and with their aid, the Spanish colonial government in the Philippines ended. Upon the return of Emilio Aguinaldo from Hong Kong, he declared the independence of the Philippines in June 12, 1898, and he became the president. The administration of Aguinaldo in December 20, 1898, issued his first proclamation wherein he declared December 30 as Rizal Day and ordered for the half-mast of the Filipino flag from 12 noon on December 29 until 12 noon of December 30. Jose Rizal is a cosmopolitan hero because he was a hero of other nationalities. Jose Rizal was a well-traveled hero. He lived in Europe for 8 years and was able to travel to Japan, America, and North America. During his travel, he spent his time inside the ship in conversation with other nationalities. Language was not or never a hindrance to him, since he knew 22 languages, including Tagalog, Ilocano, Visayan, Subanon, Spanish, Latin, Greek, English, French, German, Arabic, Malay, Hebrew, Sanskrit, Dutch, Catalan, Italian, Chinese, Japanese, Portuguese, Swedish, and Russian. While he was in Europe, he attended gatherings where intelligent and known people were involved. He wrote different novels, essays, and poems which were published in Europe and circulated in different parts of the world. And on his death, there were people who had the opportunity to witness his brilliance, which gave tribute to his greatness. In November 20, 1897, at the initiative of Dr. Rudolf Virchow, the president of the Anthropological Society of Berlin, sponsored the scientific neurological services to honor Jose Rizal. And the periodicals from different countries published the account of Rizal martyrdom to pay tribute to his greatness. In 1902, Congressman Henry Allen Cooper of Wisconsin delivered a eulogy for Rizal and recited one of his works, Mi Ultimo Adios, to prove to the Congress the capability of the Filipino people for self-government since the race was able to produce a brilliant personality like Rizal. The result of his appeal was the approval of the Cooper Law, or the Philippine Bill of 1902. During the American colonization of the Philippines, Jose Rizal was formally recognized, and the Americans gave importance to the contributions of Rizal, especially his idea about social reform. The Americans used education as a method of pacification, and so with Jose Rizal, who viewed education as a means of attaining reform. The first American civil governor in the Philippines, William Howard Taft, approved the Act No. 137, which organized the politico-military district of Morong into the province of Rizal. Taft's action was in line with their custom of naming the important localities in the memory of the person who had a great influence in the community and in the country. The naming of the district of Morong after Rizal was the first official recognition of the Americans to our hero. It was also William Howard Taft who first expressed the need to choose a national hero to the members of the Philippine Assembly. The discussion of the commission resulted to the following list of heroes from Philippines, namely Marcelo H. del Pilar, Graciano Lopez Haina, Jose Rizal, General Antonio Luna, Emilio Jacinto, and Andres Bonifacio. But among the list, it was Jose Rizal who was chosen as the national hero because of his contribution in building the sense of nationhood and because of the extent of the influence of his writings to the Filipinos. Aside from naming the province of Morong after his name, in the year 1913, the American government in the Philippines ordered the creation of his monument in Luneta, which marked the origin of the distance of the places in the Philippines, or kilometer zero. Jose Rizal is a cosmopolitan hero because he was considered to be the hero for the youth. The worth of a hero could not be known to different generations if the people did not have a clear understanding of his life, struggles, and writings. The life of Jose Rizal was well documented since he left numerous numbers of writings, a diary, and a lot of correspondence to his family and friends. In July 1956, Jose P. Laurel, Claro M. Recto, Jose B. Laurel Jr., Jacobo Gonzalez, Lorenzo Tañada, and other lawmakers sponsored the Republic Act 1425 that would enforce the teaching of the life and works of Jose Rizal in all public and private schools, colleges, and universities. This law was implemented in August 16, 1956 by the National Congress of Education and was known as Rizal Law. What are the objectives of Rizal Law? To renew the dedication to the ideals of freedom and nationalism that Jose Rizal died for, to honor our national hero and remember with special fondness and devotion his life and works which contributed in shaping our national character, and to gain inspiration in becoming nationalistic through reading his works, most especially to you as our youth today. Essentials of studying Rizal. The different disciplines on the life, works, and writings of Jose Rizal were directed by law for nothing, far from being inappropriate. The course interestingly offers many benefits that some contemporary teachers and lecturers declare that the subject, especially when taught properly, is more beneficial than many other items in different curricula. The following are just some of the essentials of the academic discipline. Excuse me. One benefit provides insights on how to deal with current problems. There is an assertion, he who controls the past controls the future. Accordingly, the view of history forms the manner they perceive the present and therefore influences the kind of solutions they provide for existing problems. Rizal as a course or subject is full of relevant information and ideas from which one could base his decision in life. In various ways, the issue, for instance, teaches that being educated is a vital ingredient for a person or country to be free and prosperous. It helps people understand better as Filipinos. The past allows people to know who they are. They comprehensively define themselves not only in terms of where we are going, but also where we come from. Our heredity, past behaviors, and old habits as a nation are all significant clues and determinants to our present situation. Interestingly, the life of an essential national historical figure like Jose Rizal contributes much to shedding light on our collective experience and identity as Filipinos. The excellent grasp of the past offered by this subject would help us in dealing wisely with the present. It teaches nationalism and patriotism. Nationalism requires the desire to acquire freedom and political independence, especially by a country under a foreign power, while patriotism denotes proud devotion and loyalty to one's nation. Jose Rizal's life, works, and writings, especially his novels, primarily, if not entirely, radiate these attributes. For one thing, the subject helps you to understand your country better. It provides several valuable life lessons. Students can learn much from the way Rizal faced various challenges in life. As a controversial figure in his time, Rizal encountered severe problems but responded decently and righteously. Through the crucial decisions he made in his life, people can sense his priorities and convictions, which manifest how noble, selfless, and great a national hero he was. His many resolutions exemplified the aphorism that in his life, there are things more essential than personal feeling and happiness. It helps in developing logical and critical thinking. Critical thinking refers to discerning, evaluative, and analytical reasoning. A philosophy major, Jose Rizal's Insurrection demonstrated his essential skills of thought in his polemical speeches, essays, satires, novels, and written arguments. In deciding what to believe or do, Rizal also proved his being a rational, reflective thinker, never succumbing to the irrational whims and unsupported opinions of anyone. He indiscriminately evaluated and criticized even the teaching of the influential religion of his time. A course on Rizal's life works and writings, therefore, is also a lesson in critical reasoning. Rizal can serve as a valuable model and inspiration to every Filipino. If one is looking for someone to imitate, then Rizal is a very viable choice. The hero's philosophies, convictions, life principles, thoughts, ideas, aspirations, and dreams are a significant influence on anyone. Throughout his life, he valued independence, respect for parents, love for siblings, and loyalty to friends, and maintained a sense of honor. As a man of intellect, he highly regarded academic excellence, logical and critical reasoning, philosophical and scientific inquiry, linguistic study, and educational research. As an ordinary person, he manifested versatility and flexibility while sustaining a strong sense of moral rightness. People love fictions and are even willing to spend on availing books or movie tickets just to be entertained by made-up tales, but only a few possibly know that Rizal's life is full of fascinating non-fictional accounts. For instance, Rizal was once involved in a love triangle with Antonio Luna, which was also part of the romantic equation. Rizal was also a model in some of Juan Luna's paintings. Rizal's common-law wife Josephine Bracken was remarried to a man from Cebu and had tutored former President Sergio Osmeña. Leonor Rivera, the Maria Clara of his life, Rizal's true love, had a son who married the sister of the former President of the United Nations General Assembly, Carlos P. Romulo. The Filipina beauty queen, Gemma Cruz Araneta, is a descendant of Rizal's sister, Maria. The sportscaster Chino Trinidad is a descendant of Rizal's first love, Segunda Katigbak, and the original manuscripts of Rizal's novel, Noli and Fili, were once stolen for ransom, but Alejandro Roses had retrieved them without paying even a single centavo. This ends lesson 1.1. Thank you.